Welcome everybody to the channel. If you're new, you're welcome. Yeah, out with another video on my blog. Just having a walk about with my mucker mate Kato. Wanted to talk about this Greg guy, BBC have thrown under the bus as they normally do when you come on Kato, in front. When BBC have had want to get rid of somebody, normally they just sort of find some way of getting rid of you by digging up the dirt maybe, or just trying to find somebody to complain to who can you can get rid of somebody by no, if you've got a normal job you've got like 3 strikes and you're out, like stuff like this. But with the BBC, of course, they depends what you're up to, and of course, like I said, be like Hugh Edwards, of course. He got away with murder, of course, and as I said, because he was higher up, and this Greg, just a greengrocer, whatever. But it just shows you what the BBC get up to when they have enough of people. They have an inquiry, stuff like this, and then they just throw you under the bus, and like I said, same with, in some respects, the way they operate is just like the Royal Mail, how they disgracefully have treated these postmasters, and who work for them. It's same with BBC, the same kind of ilk of people are running the place, same kind of thing. It's the same kind of people who run the place, ex-politicians and stuff like this, and they put people through a lot of pain and stuff like that, and of course, certain people get away with things, and of course, like as we know with Jimmy Savile, because he had quite big connections in everywhere. That's why they let Jimmy get away with things, and of course, that was in the past. Because whatever happens to Mr. Greg, wherever he does, good luck to him, basically, because as I said before, if he's been unfairly treated by another 50 people, sort of having to come into this situation to get rid of him, it's the way they operate. They can be quite ruthless at BBC when they want to get rid of somebody, and surely by the 17 years he's been working there, this would have been taken up a long time ago with anybody me and you who worked for a company. They wouldn't take 17 years to keep saying, well, you're on your final warning, or you got wrongful dismissal, something like wrongful dismissal, unfair dismissal. So you have 3 strikes, 3 interviews with the people and management and stuff, and they say, well, not happy with you or whatever, you've got to change your ways, because it happened to me on several occasions. But of course the BBC just use their situation they got. If you come out of favour, then of course you're just going to be thrown under the bus, and that's what happens, folks. They just get rid of you, and they really can't really understand. People have some people do make mistakes. Obviously, everybody does. Fair enough. You have some kind of option to say, well, look, change your ways, otherwise we will have to do something, drastically, get rid of you, kind of thing. Everybody has a final warning. But with the BBC, of course, that doesn't happen. It either gets too late, they have to have an inquiry because they've let it pass, they've let it go, and people have complained. You've got another 50 people have complained, so the 50 people have complained to the BBC, and all this is another inquiry, one inquiry after another. Of course, he said, I don't know this Greg guy, I don't know, but I didn't really watch BBC a lot in the last 10 years, of course, so I don't know. But he seems just a jovial kind of character. This is what they asked him to play, that kind of a jovial person, the greengrocer and stuff like this, So what was going to happen, we don't know, because the BBC trying to keep things quiet because they don't like hang it. Well, they don't. They just do things as they see it. They're not really worried about PR, what the public might think of them, because, as I said, you know, if he's done wrong, he's done wrong, and it's simple, you know, simple things. Any other company would say, well, you know, you're out of order and it's got to stop, you know. But 17 years ago, I think, when he started working there, and they let it carry on for others, you know, all this time. It's like I said, this is the BBC for you. They did it with Savile, they did it with Hugh Edwards, of course, and all the rest of it, and they had a quiet inquiry, but it never got anywhere. Just like it's passed under the carpet. Time is a bit. They just want you to sort of forget about it, and try and keep it hush hush if you can. You know what I mean? Shushy shushy, kind of, as my friend Alex Belfield will say. So, like I say, we'll see what happens, and we don't know. The guy is, you know, to me, he'll go somewhere else. Maybe, I don't know. You know, somebody else might employ him. I don't know. But as I said, talking about Alex, obviously he's got his own channel now, his .com channel. I'll be looking at that tonight. Because I believe it's been very well. I did try and get on the Monday, but I'm a little bit late, and it's trying to get on to alexbelfield.com. It's quite difficult. There must be thousands trying to get through. I did actually speak to him, but I think he'd gone off air because he had some teething problems, which you do get when you've got a live chat show, you know, it's live chat. But I'm glad to see him back, and maybe I'll ring up, and I did try to wind him up a bit when I rang up about it's Prince Charles, you know, to wind him up a bit. You know, yes, Charles, I've been waiting a bloody hour. Yeah, yes, a bloody hour to bloody get onto your bloody channel. You know, try to do a Prince Charles impression, but I'm not very good. As he said, I'm not very good at Prince Charles. Yeah. Of course, at the moment he's trying to get some frog's legs for this bloody Frenchman. You know, looking everywhere for frog's bloody legs. Where do you get frog's legs from? You know, can you tell me? Anybody in the chat or anybody in the comments? Where do I get frog's legs from? You know, where can I get some bloody frogs? Bloody French eating frog's legs. You know, terrible people. You know, terrible. And of course, all this is all a bit of a PR stunt for the French, because obviously the dinghy divers coming over. That's what it's all about. The Prince Charles is going to be saying, "Come on, get these bloody what they call them, boat people. Get them back to your bloody, you know, get them back. You know, we don't want them. You know, bloody foreigners. You know, bloody." You know, Charles is, you know, bloody, yeah, that kind of stuff. I have to practice a bit more with the Prince Charles. Prince Charles, it's yes, the King of England. And Alex Belfield, I might wind Alex up, might wind him up so yeah. So anyway, you know, I might ring up later on try and get on. You never know, because you know, it's very busy, and it's quite a good show last week. If people can talk, I mean, if I did get on, I would talk about this new up and coming, hopefully this blooming petition I'm trying to sort out, but I've not had much success with the petition at the moment. With this guy from Grey Matters, I don't know what's happening. Well, he's not, he's having some problems setting it up. I don't know, but anyway, if we get a petition going, obviously about the council tax, because that's what another thing that the BBC keep doing to you is fear mongering. Yeah, fear mongering. Yeah, I said that sounds a bit bad. Fear mongering by saying to people, yeah, we're going to do this and do that. They release it on all the social media, all the companies get the whiff of, oh, it's going to go on the council tax. Oh, plumbing that council tax. Oh, God, what are we going to do? You know, we have to pay it then. You know, all right. And that's what it is fear. So they make you pay up. You see, all these people next 2 or 3 years, oh, we'll have to pay up. We'll pay up, and that's what it is, folks. They're just trying to make you pay. But as you know, with the council, same with the council tax and the council tax was originally the poll tax, of course, poll tax. So, as I said, if it's going to be rioting in the streets, that's why I say, because it has to go through an act of Parliament anyway. Whatever happens, it has to go through Parliament, and what I would do, I would try and sort out this petition. I don't know whether I can do it myself. I don't know. I'd have to find out more details. That it has to be debated in Parliament then, and that way it has to be aired, and people have to say, well, yeah, people don't want it. They have a choice, and the politicians will say, well, the public doesn't want it, and the BBC will have to go on to a subscription basis and something like this, which is obviously what they should do, and go back to advertisements like everybody else does, you know, in the media. I mean, why is it that the BBC have to be sponsored or be funded by the general public, who in this day and age have other things to watch other than Jackanory and you know, stuff like that, coming home from school. Kids come home from school, they don't watch Jackanory anymore, with that still on, or Blue Peter. Is it Blue Peter? Yes, I used to come home from school and watch Blue Peter. I've got a Blue Peter badge. But them days have gone, you know. And of course the 6 o'clock news, you know, and sort of regional programs are not so bad. I suppose that could be developed. They could have advertisements in between regional programs. So they need to restructure everything, because, but these people are running the place. They're not well, I could say that media people. They're ex-politicians and all gravy train people. I'm trying to remember who's in charge now. It's Greg somebody. Is it Greg? Well, not Greg. It's not. It's Tim. I can never remember his name. The guy who's in charge. That's how much you know, think of the BBC. Oh, it's Dipstick, is it? Dips. Sorry, I can't remember the guy's name. I can't remember who he is. But he's probably running the bottle shop, and it's up to him where he decides what he thinks the public needs, you know. And he has done a bit of media, I suppose. He has run a company like in the media, because he runs BBC Studios. And BBC Studios own UK Gold. They do advertisements on there. They have another separate company, the BBC, and they want you to pay this on your council tax by being, you know when they can just do it by subscription, by the iPlayer being subscription. It's just a complete joke, mate. So anyway, like I said, I hope you like the chat and whatever, and the t-shirt. Of course, it only Fools and Horses t-shirt, you know. But as I said before, we'll see what happens with this Greg Dyke. Was going to be all blown over. The BBC will try and hush, as I say, try and hush it all up, and I hope it goes away. And but I say it must be awful, because the BBC are losing money all the time, losing money day after day. And of course, this is why I was telling you before, they're going to go try and get it the easiest way to make it on the council tax. It is an idea they've got, but I don't think the general public will stick it out. But anyway, leave your comments below if you think what you think. And as I said, thanks for all the new people on the channel who subscribe. Give us a like if you can. Please subscribe if you can. Trying to get to 2,000 subscribers. And like I said before, share with everybody else. And once this petition hopefully gets going, hopefully I can sort of, you know, let people know about it in more detail, because I might have to do one myself yet about it, because I feel that strongly about it. I can't get Grey Matters, the guy from Grey Matters. I think his name's Pete. He's a nice guy, really nice. He's got a lovely channel, great channel. I wanted to give him a plug and sort of make everybody aware that you can vote on it, on the petition, like to stop it going through. Well, it's be debated. It might not become law, but at least you've got a chance to get it debated. Anyway, folks, thanks again. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now. Bye now. Bye.